In this lecture, we will try to understand the concept of financial market. What is the financial market and what are the various instruments which are used into the financial market. So, this is a picture which you already may be familiar with. There is a financial manager, and this financial manager who raises the fund from the financial market, and those funds would be used and it would be invested into the firm real asset, and those asset will generate the money. For example, the financial manager will invest the money into the some new machines, and new machine will produce some product, and that product will be sold into the market and cash will be generated. Then that cash would be pay the dividend to the dividend, either dividend to the equity holder as a interest and principal repayment to the banks, and a part of that money would be reinvested back. So basically this picture I have explained a lot of time in various videos. So in this picture you can see that cash has been raised, not the cash has been raised from the financial market. So in the financial market there will be various players who will give the money to the financial manager. Of course not free, of course they will demand something from the financial manager. Now in the financial market, how the financial, let's understand that this how money is being generated. So basic concept is like this: there is a various savers, various small amount number of savers, domestic savers, who will saving the money, and they are providing the money to the financial manager. Of course not directly. Let's take an example of the Reliance. So Reliance may be having some financial manager, so he is getting his money, but from the these savers, from this fund provider, but not directly, but indirectly he is getting the money from this. Now who come in between? In between comes the financial intermediaries. So financial intermediaries will come in between the financial manager and this fund provider, and fund provider will give the money to the financial intermediaries, and financial intermediaries will give the money to the financial manager. Now further, this is the picture, this is the financial intermediaries there, and now the financial intermediaries can be of there are various type of financial intermediaries, and the fund manager or the fund which is required, that the person who is required the fund, they can be of two types. One is the government, one is the corporate. So corporate basically I am talking about here all the companies, whether government company or private company, and government is your government of India who is want the money. So now what the government will do, government will give some security to the financial intermediaries, and that security will be given to this fund provider. So again this security that fund provider will give the money to these financial intermediaries, and intermediaries will give the money to the government or corporate. Now this is the, what is this security? This security would be a type of security is nothing like, for example, if you are giving money to somebody, so against that money you will want some security, so that in future you will get back your money. Okay, so this security is nothing but that thing. So this is your financial asset. Actually these are the claim on the money. For example, if I talk about the Reliance company, so Reliance company is having few assets. Okay, Reliance company is having few assets. Now these assets will generate some money. Okay, one is this asset has the ownership right. Okay, ownership right is a type of your financial asset. Further, this asset will generate some money because of, let's say this is a machine, and this machine will, by using this machine some product would be produced, and by those selling those products some cash would be generated. So the claim on that cash is also a security or also a financial asset. So this would be the financial asset. Against this financial asset, taking this financial asset as security, the fund provider will give the money to the people, to the government or corporate. Now all this will, where all this will happen, that is this transaction of a security, this transaction of a money, is all this will happen into the financial market. So financial market would be the place where all of these things will happen. Now what is the purpose of financial market? I am skipping this slide. You can look at this slide once. We will try to understand what are the dynamics of the financial market, how the prices and other things will be decided in the financial market. These are the list of the financial intermediaries. What are the various financial intermediaries there that has been listed out here. Now financial instrument, as already told you, that is nothing but is an financial asset only. Okay, these are the real or virtual document which is representing either the ownership right or representing the loan type of thing. Basically this here, it is representing the claim on the superior claim on the whatever the money has been generated by the, or superior claim on the whatever the money has been generated by the company. The debt base and equity base represented the legal agreement, that is this would be some legal agreement which is involving the monetary value. For example, shares is the type of financial instrument, and your bonds is also a type of financial instrument. We'll understand the shares and bonds in more detail as we'll proceed on. Now one thing which you need to understand, how the price in the financial market is determined. So here is an example. For example, this red line is representing the supply line, that is supply of the fund available into the market, and yellow line is the demand for the fund into the market. This is a graph between the interest rate and your amount of loanable fund. I am representing and try to tell you through the graph, but it can be understood without the graph only, so without the graph as well, but with the graph the understanding is little better. So this is an interest rate and this is the loan amount of loanable fund. So you can see this yellow line is a downward sloping line. What is this representing? So just concentrate on this yellow line only now for time being. Now let's say the interest rate, if this is the interest rate, if this is the interest rate, then demand for the fund is this much. Okay, so demand for the fund would be this much. Now as the interest would decrease, let's say now interest is this much, this is the interest rate, now demand for fund is now this much. So this would be the demand for fund, demand for loan. So that is demand for borrowing, you can say, so borrowing activity will be this much. So as the interest rate will goes down, demand for fund would increase. This is exactly which would happen in the case of borrowing. Whereas in case of lending, exactly opposite will happen. As the interest rate will decrease, amount of fund available for giving the loan will decrease. Why? And that you can understand by yourself. If interest rate, if you, let's say you are having the 100 rupees with you, if interest rate increasing, then you are more willing to lend that money. If interest rate decreasing, you are less willing to lend that money. So that's why your lending will always be upward sloping. So the intersection point will tell you about the equilibrium interest rate into the market, or interest rate where the demand for the loan as well as the supply for the loan is matching. Now in case by any chance your supply of the loan increases, by any chance, let's say your graph is shifted through this, so the demand has been here, the demand has been shown shifted, that demand for the loan is shifted toward this direction, so then your equilibrium interest rate will also increase. Okay, so this is how the your interest rate and prices is decided into the financial market. As the demand will increase, interest rate will increase, price will increase. As the supply will increase, interest rate will decrease, and demand or your prices will decrease. Same graph has been shown through the prices here. Okay, so as the supply is increasing, so the supply is decreasing, so earlier at this price this much of a supply, now the supply is at this much of a supply has decreased, so that's why the supply has been shifted, and that's why there is an increasing security price. So this is how the price into the financial market is determined. Now in the next slide we'll try to understand various type of financial market instruments.